Hi everyone and welcome to my channel and to another Craft Room Helpers video. In this series we're doing What Do You Color With Collab and Giveaway. Today, Saturday, May 4th through Friday, May 10th is the time frame for this series of Craft Room Helpers. And I hope that you will join each of us. Now, there are 10 of us in this collaboration, and we'll be sharing with you a variety of color mediums. For example, what I'm using today are Spectrum Noir color markers. Now, our goal in these Craft Room Helpers is to introduce you to coloring mediums that you may not have, or maybe inspire you to get them out again and try again, and don't give up, because it's all a learning curve. Every one of us have had that, and I am still learning with the Spectrum Noir. Now, we're also having giveaways on each of our channels from various sponsors. On my channel, I'm going to be giving away 3 digital images from Morgan's Art World, and they are so pretty. And all you need to do is to be a subscriber if you're not already, but also leave me a comment so that I know that you watched this video, and please mention something that stood out to you that you really enjoyed, even if it's just one little thing, just something specific about this video that you liked. And if you would, please give me a thumbs up. It's really appreciated when you do. Now, I also want to let you know that, get my train of thought here, below in the description box there's going to be more detailed of what all the rules on how to be eligible for the prizes, and there's also lineup links for the rest of the crafters that's involved, as well as links to all the wonderful sponsors that's in this collab that's sponsoring us. I mean, there are some amazing sponsors in here. And be sure that you click on where it says show more to see everything that's in the description box. You've got to click show more so you can get all those rules. Now, to make it easy to find the person that's after me, you need to go into the description box, and above that, and before it even starts anything else, it's going to tell you who the next person is in the lineup. Let me see, make sure I didn't miss anything. I believe that's it. But do go to each one of them, because it is a haul, but that's one of the requirements, that you have to go to each one and leave a comment. So, but specifically on mine, I do want you to leave something that stood out to you that you liked. So I hope I will inspire you, and so let's get started. Okay. Believe it or not, I've tried to do this image for you like 3 times, record the video. For some reason, it's not been recording, so we're going to try it again. But what I'm using is an image called Cameo 9. She's a cameo bride, and she is just stunning. And I have colored her already a few times, and each time I do it just a little bit differently. So we're going to try and see what she looks like on this one. So please bear with me. I'm pretty new at using color markers, and these are the Spectrum Noir, and they are just really good. I use a color chart to get the specific colors down. And as you can see, I thought I had a whole lot of colors until I got the downloaded the marker chart. And I really don't have as many as I thought, but I have enough to do the cameo. And I will be filling these up gradually. But a word of advice is, do not go by the color of the pen head. Now that looks like a yellow color. Now there are no yellows on this sheet. That is number GB6, and when you color it, GB6 turns into a brown, more of a brown tone. It has a yellow highlight to it because it's called a gold brown, but it's got that color into it, but it is not this color, as you can see right there. So don't go by the cap color, go by your chart. This is very valuable. If anything, that's my biggest tip right there, is to get your color marker chart, download it, and use it. So that's what I go by. I go by this. I don't go by the marker colors. I did that, and I couldn't figure out what's going on. Well, the colors weren't the same as the tip, or as the lids, the caps. So anyway, I am going to be using a few different colors for her face. I am going to be using F2. These are spread out because I've already done this. You know, there's F3. I'm going to be using it too. F2 and F3 and TN2. And I will eventually be using FS6 and TN3. Those two colors also. And the first thing that I like to do is that I like to start out doing the shading first. And because the TN2 is a tan color and it's darker than the flesh tones, the FS's, I am going to use the TN2 first, and I'm going to kind of outline my shadowing. Now I got to take my glasses off because I can't use my glasses and see at the same time. But anyway, I'm going to find my shadowing, and there's her hairline right up there. So you know there's going to be some shadowing up in there. And her face is turned this way. Let me see if I can get a better light. Her face is turned this way and kind of looking down. And so, you know, there's some shadow, you know, down that direction. And there's highlights up here because it's closer to what I can go and consider the lighter area. So shadowing here, and I'm going to use my other picture as a guide because that came out the way I wanted to. So she's going to be my guide, but you can't see her because she's, you know, I don't want you to see what it's going to look like yet. So her earlobe, you know, you got shadows in your earlobes and in your ear area. And I'm going to put a little shadow into her eyelid here. And back up in here, you know, there's going to be some shadowing. And in her chin area. And I'm going to give her kind of a chin shadow, if that makes any sense. And wherever the darker areas are going to be, that's where I'm doing it first. So here she is being all colored up with her skin tones. And because she's looking down, she's got this shadow here, you know, so I want to kind of get it and just kind of ease it out a little bit. And then I'm going to, there's, you know, the lights this way. So I'm going to go ahead and just go down here and shadow her shoulder in. And I'm not doing a real big piece to it. And I am going in here because that's a little see-through sleeve there. I'm going in down in here in her shadow, more shadowy. And let's see if that's wide enough. Yeah. Okay, for now, this is what I'm doing with her her the darkest shadow. Now, you know, it's not going to look that light when I get done, but that's the way it is right now. Now, this being the shadowing, the darker part, I'm going to come in and blend in a little bit lighter color, the FS2, and I'm going to come out a little bit to blend it. Now, I'm not going right on top of that, the previous color. Some parts I will, but not that one. Not in that area, I mean. I've got a froggy voice for some reason now. So just shadowing in. I'm going to put some shadow into her nose area, into her lips here. Little line in here. I'm just following through what I've already done. It's almost like kind of outlining what I've been through already. And I forgot to do that one. You might hear some noises. It's a busy day today for the neighbors. I think I put the wrong color back on. No, that's right. Yay. I should have it memorized, you would think. And I'm going to bring it up just a little bit up in here too now. Now before I start, I've got some shadow in here from her netting. Before I start the next lighter shade, I'm going to use the FS6, which is kind of a pinkish color tone to it. So I keep looking at my video, make sure it's still going. So I'm going to do her cheekbone area, and her cheekbone's going to kind of come around in here. So I'm just going to add this pinkish color into it before I add my other color. And over in here, make sure I get it there. And I'm also going to use that on her lips, which I'll darken that up later. Okay, now I'm going to take the FS2. Let me see what color. Oh, yeah. Take the FS2, and I'm going over her facial features all over. And if I want to leave some white in places, I can. And I'm going over that pinkish color because I want to make sure that it has the flesh tones in it. Okay, so I've colored her skin tones in again, and I may make more adjustments later, but right now this is what I'm going to stick with. I may close that gap up a little bit, but I want her lips to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to take the CR6 and see if you, okay. And I am going to color her. Now, her lips. Now, I always like to start with the skin tones first. And then you saw me go ahead and do the eyes, and I'll add to the eyes here in a minute. Excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and color her earring the same color. And leave a little light there on her lip. That's what I'm doing. And I'm going to take, I have a gel pen somewhere. Oh, and I wanted to tell you too that I do use paper from a company called Paper Temptress. And what I like is the Super Smooth, Nita Classic Crest Super Smooth 80 pounds. And it's not expensive, but it's excellent paper. So anyway, that's where I get my paper for coloring. Lost my train of thought. Okay, I went for my gel pen. That's what it was. I'm going to put a little shine dot on her earring, just like a little glint of light. And I'm going to put a dot of a gel pen, white gel pen, in her eye. And I think I'm going to put a little bit in her blue part of her eye too. Now, a lot of times when I come back into the eyes later, I will go ahead and add a little black to get that pupil going, you know, really good. I think I've got, my throat is like, you know, you're tired. You've already done this 3 times, 2 or 3 times. I need to make that a little bit darker there, maybe even a little bit more than that. But right now we're going to leave that alone. Okay, now I am going to go ahead and color her hair. And the colors I used for her hair earlier were, let's see, I believe it was GB1 and GB4. Again, that is not the color on the paper. It's not yellow. I am going to start out with my darker color, and I'm going to go into those shadows I told you about earlier, or tried to tell you about earlier in the other video, and I think I told you in this one for the skin tones. But anyway, I'm going to go in the shadows, and if you look into your drawing, they pretty well have shadows already done for you, and you just kind of have to follow it through. And then you just kind of add to it yourself. And because she's wearing a little hat, I'm going to give her a little more hair there than I did in the other one, because that looks like it could be part of her hair. As I tried to tell in the other video, because it's a netting, you know, it's not shiny or anything. You don't have to worry about it being, you know, the shine showing through or not. Now, I'm going to get my lighter color. And again, I am a beginner with color markers. So I'm by no means an expert at this at all. And I usually run through the colors a couple of times anyway. And I'm going to try to leave some highlights in there for her. And I'm going to show you a trick that I use in my shadowing after I get done with her hair too. And actually probably wait till I get done with all of it. Now I want her hair to be darker. So I'm going to go back into the GB4. I'm going to add more color to it, and I'm going to give a little bit more of a firm action. I'm going into her hat now, and I am going to be using, let's see, BP1 and BP3. And again, all the shadows and everything are on the mostly the right side. I'm just kind of sprinkling them in there, if that makes any sense, to sprinkle it in. Okay, now I'm going to add my BP1, and I'm going to basically color all that in. Now there's the thing I like to do now, and this is what, you know, I didn't learn this on my own, but this is a little trick I learned from somewhere. Oh my goodness. There's a color, oh yeah. This is a very light gray color. It can be darker, but I like to take it, and I like to take that gray, and in order to kind of make this look like it's see-through more, I'm going to give it some shadow into the see-through sleeve part. So there's some shadow in there now. A little bit more up in here, just kind of follow the lines. And that way it just gives it more of an effect that she's, you know, wearing a see-through sleeve. And then I'm going to put shadowing here, because if you look at a white dress, it's all white, but it's got some shadows to it too. So you want to do that. For me, that's what I do. That's why I said you want to do it. And go ahead and just kind of shadow it up. And that just gives it like an illusion. Let's see if I can see that. It gives it more of an illusion that it's see-through. And then I'm going to take it up here. You can use darker if you want to, but I don't think it's necessary. Now, here's another trick for me. I take this gray and I go ahead and use it on these dark pieces. Here, the shadows. And then that way, it really looks more like a shadow. Because you look at shadows and they're not the color of the person. They're the color of a gray shadow. So I'm kind of highlighting her darker areas with this gray. And if you want, you can use darker. The darker the color, the darker the gray would be. And like I said, this is the way I do it. And I didn't come up with that myself. I did learn from other people. So you can still see that she has her blonde hair, but now there's more shadowing effect to it. So now I'm going to do the same thing to these flowers in here. I'm just kind of randomly going. And this is what I'm going to call done. And each one that I've done is a little bit different. But there she is. And I do think I do need to add some more of the lighter the BP1 in there. Looking at the camera, it looks a little too white. And she is done. Okay, my last step is to make this into a card, a little wedding card. And as you can see, I've already pre-cut some materials. I've got my card base using the same paper that I used to color her. And I also got these papers from the Paper Temptress, so I'll put a link down there below too. But and I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but the prize for my channel giveaway is 3 images from Morgan's Art World. I may have said digital art from Morgan's, but it's 3 of them, okay? And so they are gorgeous images. This is probably my favorite right now. So anyway, we're going to put this card together. I've already lace cut this piece out here. See, the makes a really pretty wedding card, the white on white with the lacy look. I just love this. So I put those 2 pieces together, cut about the same paper. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some lace to this. And I'm kind of debating if I want the lace or not. Lace seems to go with weddings, but I just want to make sure I don't take away from my paper. So I'm just going to kind of lay it like this for now, and then lay this on top. And I think it'll be just fine with it. So I'm going to kind of even it out a little bit, and I'm just going to glue to the back of it here using my hot glue right along the edge there. Okay, here is my finished card. I will do a photo shoot at the end of it, and you'll see the different angles and everything. And I hope that you will be inspired by this, and be sure that you let me know what it is that you have learned from this, or something you liked about it, or whatever. And let me know. And be sure to like and subscribe and check out all the other channels, and because it is a hop. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.